Welcome to this week's podcast broadcast of This Week in Science. Thank you for joining us. We are going to get started here with the show in just a few moments. But before we go, got to tell you that this is a part that gets edited out. There's other stuff if things go wrong that gets edited out for the podcast. But otherwise, everything is live. It's us here making mistakes. For reals.
Never.
Never. Yeah, hopefully we don't have too much of that. But are we ready for a show? Do we sound all right? Is it okay? Got good ears? You ready? Oh, yeah. I think we're going to start the show. Beginning. Yeah. Okay. I'm not seeing the chats moving. Ooh, something blurbled. Okay. Oh, good. We sound. I removed myself. I don't know why I did that. There. Now I did it to Blair. We're just making the mistakes now so that we get ready.
Just doing the do-si-do. Yeah.
Do-si-do. That's right. Magic of the internets. Hit the likes, hit the shares, and be aware that TWIS is starting. Starting in 3, 2. This is TWIS. This Week in Science, episode number 1039, recorded on Wednesday, November 26th, 2025. TWISgiving gratitude. Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Kiki, and tonight we will fill your heads with virtual mouse brain, cockroach cuddles, and gratitude. But first, disclaimer. It's the season for thanks, for gratitude, and talking about science with cranks. As we venture to share friendly meals without glares, let's remember the reason we try. We'd rather not have the turkey exploded, but fried. Many more reasons ahead, coming up on This Week in Science. Coming up next.
I've got the kind of mind that can't get enough. I want to learn everything. I want to fill it all up with new discoveries that happen every day of the week. There's only one place to go to find the knowledge I seek. I want to know what's happening. What's happening? What's happening this week in science? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening this week in science?
Good science to you, Kiki.
And a good science to you too, Blair, and everyone out there. I hope you are all having a wonderful week and are ready for a little bit of science. Tonight on the show, we're just doing a little bit. It's a little bit of a show because it's kind of a holiday week. It's kind of a thing going on here in the United States where we have a day tomorrow where 2 people who are here on this show are involved in food and making food and hosting people and taking care of people. So, there's a lot to do this week, and we know you have things to do as well. So we hope that we entertain you a bit. But tonight is a night for science, gratitude, and friends. We'll keep it going on. Okay, tonight on the show, I have a story. I have a virtual mouse brain, like I said, and then I've got some stories related to language, kissing, and the reading our minds in the future. So hopefully those stories will dovetail nicely with my gratitude later. So we're going to each have a story, and then our stories and thoughts of gratitude. Blair, what did you bring for the Animal Corner and other tonight?
I mean, I'm the one who brought the roach hugs, obviously.
Cockroach cuddles. What?
Yeah. So, we'll talk. I mean, we're going to be with our families tomorrow. depending how you feel about some of them. Roach cuddles might sound kind of like what's going on for you. But anyway.
Or could be preferable.
Yeah. And then my gratitude segment is about delicious dairy. I've spent about 8 hours cooking today, and all of it was with butter, and quite a bit of it was with milk. And so,
delicious.
Food science-y stuff ahead.
Oh, we will discuss. I love the food science, and I love the dairy. It doesn't love me, though.
Yeah.
We've had these conversations. Yeah. Okay. Well, everyone, if you enjoy the show, please tell your friends about This Week in Science. We are a weekly podcast. We're out here trying to raise the ideal curiosity level among people. We like curiosity. We like curious people.
Mm-hmm.
We like asking questions. We like talking about those questions. And if you know people who like questions, who like puzzles better than answers, then perhaps they would enjoy TWIS. We broadcast live Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Pacific time-ish on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. We are on a bunch of social media outlets. Look for TWIScience. Look for This Week in Science. And wherever you get your podcasts, look for This Week in Science. Our website is TWIS.org. Woohoo! We also have a Patreon. If you go to TWIS.org, you can click on the Zazzle link and look for merchandise for your holiday shopping. That'll help support TWIS a little bit. You can even click on that Patreon link and help support this show moving forward. We are going to talk a bit about science whenever we talk, right? Just a bit.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. All right. Are you ready for this show? Is it time to go? Yes.
Hit
okay.
me with the science here.
Woo! With the science. With the science. Got it. Okay. Let's look at a virtual mouse brain. Do you want to see a virtual mouse brain?
Yeah. I'm sure you're going to get into it, but why do we need a virtual one?
Well, it has been with initiatives like the Big Blue, the Big Brain Atlas. There are initiatives attempting to simulate a brain, because if you could simulate a brain, then potentially you know what's going on in it. You can use neural networks that'll make our understanding of brains and how they work, how they function, even better. So researchers, it is fuzzy. It's a fluffy little puffy brain actually in this this video. So from the Aaaand Institute, researchers at the Aaaand Institute working with their compatriots, colleagues at the Research Organization for Information Science and Technology, Yamaguchi University, Riken Center for Computational Science. We've also got the University of Electrocommunications, which I think that is a really fabulous name for a university. And they're also partnered with the supercomputer Fugaku. So this is through Riken, the Center for Computational Science in Japan. The Aaaand Institute is announced the model, the simulation of the whole cortex of a mouse brain, composed of 9 million biophysical neurons and 26 billion synapses on a supercomputer. This is, to date, the largest, most complex simulation of a brain that we have come to. And it's not, where we've had cat cortex or rabbit cortex, where they're trying to model a square centimeter of cortex. This is the entire cortex for an organism model. So comprehensively, the complexity is huge because you're dealing with the connections between different areas of the brain that are responsible for different aspects of cognition. The cortex is responsible for higher brain level function, the top-down level, executive control. It is related to higher level behavioral functioning, problem solving, memory. This is the thought processes of an animal. So, because of the complexity, understanding the brain is, we're still not there. The biological brain, this is from an abstract at the SC Supercomputer 25 conference, where they just announced this last week. They say, unlike artificial neural networks, the biological brain features diverse biophysical properties essential to its function. So building an accurate digital replica using extensive anatomical and physiological data, which are available in databases, is a promising approach. So what they did is they had a lightweight biophysical neuron simulator was developed and optimized to the computer Fugaku. Strong scaling was demonstrated in a benchmark model up to 152,064 compute nodes with 7.13 petaflops performance. In a more realistic scenario, the whole cerebral cortex with 9 million neurons, 26 billion synapses, was simulated on the full-scale Fugaku supercomputer with 145,728 nodes. And they say that this suggests that our supercomputing technology is now ready. We're finally at the point where we're ready to support the simulation and modeling of mammalian brains. Where previously we didn't have enough compute power. We now have the complexity of computation to be able to make it possible.
So what kind of simulations do you run on a virtual brain?
I don't know. I think that's a really wonderful question.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's the part I'm like, my brain's just not, it's not.
Yeah,
my brain isn't completing the circuit for me to be like, but why?
But what is it? Yeah. Okay.
How is this beneficial to science? What do we do with it?
So by testing hypotheses of how neurons connect with certain input, so pretend that there's visual input, right? What happens? How does the brain shape focus, attention? Can they model brain seizures in a mouse? Can they start looking at brain disorders? Asking questions, having hypotheses related to how different parts of the brain communicate in scenarios like schizophrenia or depression. Not that these are, specifically, these are not what, mice necessarily have, but there are mouse models for these things. So being able to simulate different things happening within the brain with particular rules about how different neurons connect to each other, you can create situations where you have connectivity within networks that sometimes is amazing and other times breaks down and maybe doesn't work correctly. So we can start to ask and answer questions related to these things. How do the neurons connect to each other? Why? What is, they have equations. They have a neuron simulator, New Light, that can turn equations into neurons that spike signal and chatter. So, it would be, instead of having a brain that you can measure the electrical activity in, you tell the computer, put this in there and see what happens. How does the brain act? Do we have it accurately modeled, or is it wrong? Does it not actually recapitulate what happens in electrophysiological or brain scanning models?
So this is exactly the other problem I'm having with it.
Great. Okay. I love it when you have problems.
Is I feel like we still have a lot to learn about how the brain works. And so how can you model a brain to behave in a virtual scenario like a brain is supposed to behave if we don't fully understand how brains work? Like, I think that's the part that's like, how do you run an experiment on a virtual brain to see how it will behave if you don't know how it will behave? Like, how do you build a virtual brain that behaves like a real brain if you're not if you still need to
Mhm.
run simulations on brains. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I
Like,
do.
Okay.
Yeah,
It
cart
just, it
horse.
doesn't make sense
Yeah.
to me.
So we have decades of recordings of simple synapses, of simple, neuron to neuron electrochemical transmission. We've got single neuron systems. We've got systems with small numbers of neurons and what happens in those. We also have different kinds of recordings like EEG, PET scanning, fMRI. We've got all sorts of data that has given us an idea. Like, we think this is how it works, how these neurons talk to each other and how they act in networks,
Yeah.
right? So we have,
We think.
yeah. And so we've got like, there's like a basic brain rhythm that helps you focus. It's like, this basic, like, your brain's like, woo, I'm connected. It's good, and do we, or can we hold on to that and can we recapitulate that? Can we simulate that in the model? Can we create that? Can we show, the different kinds, like, the deep focus or flow state brain rhythms, or the sleeping and waking brain rhythms that we've measured? Can we make those happen accurately? And so the question is, as we like go back and forth, hopefully eventually you cut hypotheses out that don't work, and you like get closer and closer and closer to how it actually works by like this. Okay, simulated version, real version, simulated version, real version. It's kind of like physics, right? Where astrophysicists, theoretical physicists are like, I have math. The universe works like this. Black holes work like this. And then we go, no, we just finally measured black holes, and no, it doesn't work like that. Okay, we'll use this other one,
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's a really good analogy, actually. I think that helps quiet my brain a little bit about it. Like, okay, yeah, we do it all the time in other fields. Makes sense.
Yeah, you come up with ideas and you're like, okay, I can't actually slice, right now this is a mouse brain, and yes, we do slice my mouse brains up for science. But if we can get more compute power, more higher efficiency, like maybe we could actually start modeling primate brains. Maybe we could, maybe we could model larger, more complex brain systems with, better and better compute. But I mean, we're talking petaflops for a little tiny mouse brain right now. Yeah. There's a long way to go.
Yeah.
Such a long way to go. And when people talk about like, we're getting closer, we can model a brain, we can do this, it's like, there's still a very, very long way to go. But I love that they're doing this, and it's so pretty. There's just really neat stuff happening.
It is. It looks very fuzzy, which I appreciate, and sparkly.
It is puffy and sparkly and great. And I have to share this this video they've got, which is just absolutely gorgeous, from the Aaaand Institute. Oops, I'm not going to do it picture in picture. Is that going to work? No, I've got the wrong thing on. But they've got beautiful simulations of the lighting up, the spiking and connecting, and the transmission of signals along these different morphologies of brain cells. So the dendrites, the axons, the way that they connect to each other. And because they're modeling the different lobes of the brain, the different parts of the brain that communicate with each other, we've got this incredible picture of lighting up across the mouse brain. So it's pretty
in there.
It's pretty in there. Next thing too that they haven't done yet, this is just neurons. And we've been talking about glial cells, astrocytes, these other cells that are in the brain helping with neuronal transmission and making it better. Yeah. Anyway, long way to go, but it's pretty. So I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you for pretty things, Aaaand Institute. Blair, want to tell me
Yes.
about cuddles? Yes, please.
Yes, I do. Here we go. Let me just...
Here we go. Cuddle time. What are you getting here?
Perfect. All right. Well, I had to put Madagascar hissing cockroaches behind me since I have a virtual background going. Just for fun.
Thank you.
Just so that those of you who are extra squeamish about it can't even look at your screen.
Thanks, Blair. That's great.
So Madagascar hissing cockroaches, they're like the puppies of the cockroach world. Okay, a lot of people have them as pets. They're almost always used in like zoos and science centers as ambassador animals. They're very easy to handle. They're big, so they're something that you can, hand to a 6-year-old and they can crawl across their hand. They're like 3 inches long. They're remarkable animals. You're trying to distract from the cockroaches with the background. I see you.
I might be changing things. Maybe.
A recent study titled "Plastic Behavior Responses to Ambient Relative Humidity Influence Aggregation in a Large Gregarious Insect" is a lot of words to say cockroaches cuddle when it's dry. So researchers from Binghamton University and a bunch of other researchers from all over the world, really, wanted to look at Madagascar hissing cockroaches and in general, even though they're used in science centers and zoos and aquariums and they're really common as pets, as I said, there hasn't been a lot of studies on them in general. And so there's still a lot of questions about these guys. And so that's one of the reasons I was really excited about this story, is just it kind of loosens the cap on that a little bit. So, hey guys, these insects are really easy to keep, and they're relatively easy. They're not like fruit flies, but it's not like having tanks of cuttlefish in your lab. It's a little bit easier than that. And they do well in captivity. Cuttlefish.
Cuttlefish don't cuddle.
Yes. But cockroaches do.
Hissing cockroaches.
Yes.
Okay. This is not what you would expect.
Yeah. And so this is a cool opportunity to remind, I think, the research community, like, hey, study cockroaches, guys. Particularly study these ones. But the reason they're so interesting is because they're so large. They are just so large compared to other roaches that there are certain things that you think they may or may not do as compared to other insects. And so in Madagascar, there's a wet season, there's a dry season, and they found that there was a tendency for these guys to aggregate related to swings in humidity. When the humidity is low, they were significantly more likely to gather into groups, and many of them were in physical contact with each other. They were cuddling. And it was less common under high humidity, and if they did do any cuddling, it was fewer individuals in the higher humidity. So small insects and larval insects will do a lot of social aggregation, is what they're calling it, which is a behavioral adaptation to reduce the risk of water loss. That's because insects lose water really quickly because of their high surface area in relation to their volume. And
especially when these are larger.
Right. Yeah. And so even adult insects, they would sometimes gather together just like the larva would to reduce water loss, because they're basically like changing the microclimate around them. They are raising the temperature, they're reducing their total surface area. So if like only the outside of the cuddle puddle, as it were, is exposed to the outside air, then their volume to surface ratio changes. And so that also they can impact the humidity in their immediate area. So any humidity that is getting released on their underside stays within the community that is being cuddled, right? So they get to kind of retain some of that moisture. And so keeping all of that in mind, larger animals actually have a smaller ratio of surface area to volume because they have more insides, right? So like their volume's larger, their surface area is not as large as compared to their volume. And so larger animals, as they get bigger, their humidity loss goes down. And so the expectation was that these big cockroaches would not need to cuddle to reduce humidity loss because of the fact that they're just big. But they found that they do, in fact, do that. So they're losing water through their cuticle and through breathing. And so this is something that they do appear to be doing. There is a cost benefit here because if they are together, then that does mean that their ability to forage is reduced while they're kind of stuck in the cuddle puddle. They're easier prey. They're all in one space. And it also does increase competition on any resources nearby. So it does kind of change how some of their other needs can be met while they're in their cuddle state. But what's especially interesting about this is that Madagascar is a place that is being studied heavily in relation to climate change. And so their dry seasons are becoming longer, they're becoming more severe. And so humidity is in some regions is dropping to crazy low levels they've never seen before. And so more frequent or extreme dry periods could push them to aggregate more to conserve water, which could affect their foraging, it could affect reproduction, it could affect broader ecological roles, especially because they are decomposers. They're detritus eaters. They eat eat leftovers and they eat waste. And so because of that, if they are aggregating into larger areas, then there are sections of the habitat that are not being cleaned up by cockroaches because they're all kind of clumping into smaller spots. So that could have a larger ecological impact on the area. But so I thought it was interesting to consider that also, like, the exoskeleton of the insect is not impermeable. Like, it's very easy to think about it. Like, that hard shell is completely watertight, but of course it isn't, and also they have to breathe, right? So
it can't. Yeah, it's not like the Iron Man suit, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they have to have that gas exchange, and so they do have the same kind of concerns that any other animal would have about drying out when there's low humidity. So, cockroaches cuddling. I just also wanted to provide everyone with a really awkward topic of conversation for tomorrow around the dinner table. So go ahead and talk about that.
You started by calling them puppies, like they're insect puppies.
Yeah, they are. They're so
would
sweet.
Never consider a cockroach a puppy.
Have you ever held a Madagascar hissing cockroach?
No.
They're so great. I'm going to look up at some point. I bet they have them at the Portland Zoo. I bet
for sure. Yeah, they're all
I bet
over.
they have encounters where you could go. Like, a bunch of zoos every year have this special around Valentine's Day where you can name a Madagascar hissing cockroach after an ex if you want, right? But I would much rather, like, if Brian named a cockroach after me, I would actually find it really romantic. But I know I'm special, so...
Brian, hint, hint, Valentine's Day coming up in February.
I know. But yeah, they're really, they're very cool animals. So I would say if you have a local zoo, aquarium, or science center that you could go to and meet a hissing cockroach, you should. Because I know the initial, there's an ick factor. You might be like hesitant to jump in and have it walk across your hand. But these are pivotal moments. Like, I will never forget the moment that I was I think 6-year-old and was begrudgingly convinced to hold a stick insect. And it really did change everything. It's like,
I think the hardest part for me is like holding still and like if they move, not having a jump scare moment where I jump and scream and throw the insect. So that's like for me, I'm like,
it feels like nothing else when they walk on you. Yeah, because you feel their little legs, but they're not going to hurt you.
Yeah,
they're just walking. There's little puppies. who like to cuddle.
A little puppy. So, like, tarantulas. I think tarantulas are gorgeous.
Yeah.
They're just amazing spiders. They're furry, much more like a puppy than a hissing cockroach.
Yes, but the hiss, that's nothing. They're not like growling at you. It's not an aggressive thing.
I don't like it. It's creepy. But when I found out that if I held a tarantula and it moved and I screamed and threw the tarantula, that I would like potentially crack the tarantula open like an egg because they're so delicate.
True. Yeah.
I have never touched a tarantula because I don't want to hurt them. Yeah. I'm not afraid of, I'm afraid of them biting me, but I know that spiders don't do that usually unless they need to. Right?
No. But I will also tell you a tarantula bite feels like a bee sting. And cockroaches are not going to bite you. They can't. They have teeny tiny little mouths.
Cockroaches are not going to bite you. I get it. Okay. What does a cockroach eat for Thanksgiving dinner?
Whatever you drop on the floor.
If you don't clean it up.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, we talk about getting a dog. I'm not going to make it so that there are cockroach puppies in my house. We're not.
No, I would not recommend free range.
No.
Madagascar hissing cockroaches. I would not recommend that.
No, not going there.
I would not even recommend the pet thing. I feel like that's a little bit much. I think you should go, if you're really interested in cockroaches and other bugs, you should go volunteer at an insect zoo. That's what you should do.
Idea. It's a wonderful idea.
Yeah. I used to work with teen volunteers that worked in the insect zoo. It was great.
You don't need to have them at home. You could go to the zoo.
You have plenty of bugs at home, trust me.
Plenty of bugs at home. Yes. Hey, everybody. This is This Week in Science. Thank you so much for joining us this TWISgiving. If you are feeling generous, head over to TWIS.org and click on the Patreon link. Patreon is how we ask you to support us going on through the year. And you can support us with a one-time payment that's for the entire year, or you can have monthly subscription payments. You can basically set it up however you want for whatever amount you want. But if you enjoy the show and want to support the open inquiry related to science, credibility, evidence-backed conversations, if you would just enjoy this community and our Wednesday night hangouts talking about science, please consider, if you can, heading over to TWIS.org, click on the Patreon link, and support us because we are listener supported. You help make TWIS what it is. We are so grateful for you, so thankful for you. We can't do it without you. Thank you. Happy TWISgiving. Now you're Tron. Oh my God.
No, I'm in the holodeck.
The holodeck, right? No. Do we want Blair's Animal Corner music?
No, it's not the Animal Corner.
It's not the Animal Corner.
No, it's not.
Okay, so right now, everybody, we're going to have the second half of our show, which is going to be Blair and me talking about what we are so thankful for science for. Our big gratitude about science. We hope you enjoy the conversation. We'll see where it goes. Blair, what are you thankful for?
Yes. So I thought about this all week, and especially today with all of the milk and butter that I was using to cook, I decided I wanted to talk about a part of science that has touched me personally, and it is the invention of lactid.
This is honestly, like, when you put this in the run sheet, this was not what I expected. I was like, Blair's going to come up with something cool about what we're learning about animal cognition, about colony animals. Like, I don't know. I had so many other expectations than
no.
lactate. Okay.
I did
so
some research. Yeah, because I was just like, how did this happen? And why is it that I have an inability to process dairy that I developed in my mid-30s?
Why, Blair? Why?
And that
Why?
now I can't eat it. But hey, I
Yep.
can, because someone developed a supplement so that I can now consume dairy. So like, what happened there? What science happened? What scientific past happened? So I just did a little bit, not a super deep dive, a very shallow dive into this. So first I found out that around 65% of adult humans on the planet are lactose intolerant. 65%. Which is way higher than I thought. But of course, you know, it's all a spectrum. So there's probably some people that are just like having a little bit of farting after dairy. And then there are other people that like are in severe abdominal pain, which is what happened to me. Like I thought my appendix burst when I developed lactose intolerance, and I had no idea what was going on. And then anyway. But so there are symptoms described as early as 460 BC. And until the 1960s, the prevailing assumption was that tolerance was the norm, which is probably why we all kind of feel like, oh, well, everyone can handle dairy except for me, right? And then in the 1960s, they started doing research on lactose intolerance, and specifically related to particular ethnic groups. And so they found that it runs in higher numbers in particular groups of people. And so it appears to have a genetic link, is what that is, you know, thought to mean. Ultimately, we're not really supposed to process lactose as adults because we don't.
No.
Yeah. But then.
Yeah, like our whole evolution, it's like, there we were. We started farming 10,000 years ago. And that's when we started, you know, maybe before that, but like getting the milk from other animals, right? It's like we produce milk for our offspring, and then they stop eating it, and we stop producing it, and that's it.
Right. And so one of the theories on why we all thought that lactose tolerance was normal and intolerance was the abnormal state is because a lot of research before the 1960s, shock and awe, was done mostly on European white populations. And so they have
probably like Northern European.
Yeah. And so they have unusually low incidences of lactose intolerance as compared to other groups, most likely because they have the most extensive cultural history of dairying, which is, you know, cows and goats and stuff like that. And so
dairying.
Yes, dairying. And so also there's the whole piece that fermented dairy products like cheese have significantly less lactose. So you can be lactose intolerant with milk and be fairly tolerant with cheese. I wish that was the case for me, but that does happen for some people. And so that also creates kind of this misconception because people are just like, oh, milk doesn't agree with me, but otherwise, you know, everything else is fine. But then in the 1960s, they started doing more research, recognized lactose intolerance correlated with specific ethnic groups. One of them in particular being Ashkenazi Jewish. That's me over here. It's between 75 and 80%. So that's like, that's one of the kind of
that's a lot.
The jokey tropes about Jews is that they always have a stomach ache. And so this is part of it.
It's true. Oh my gosh.
But so all that to say, and I should also mention, you know, for those of you that are not aware, so lactose intolerance is because you don't have the enzyme lactase in your small intestines. That is what is used to break down glucose and galactose. And so those are the specific sugars found in milk and dairy products that aggravate your small intestine. Primary lactose intolerance occurs as lactase declines as you get older. So this is most likely what happened to me. Secondary lactose intolerance is due to an injury of the small intestine. And then there's developmental, which is when there are premature babies that are not able to process lactose, which feels rough.
Just not there yet.
Yeah. And then there's congenital lactose intolerance, which is a genetic disorder where there's little to no lactase made from birth. And so those are all different things, but most people have primary lactose intolerance that are just kind of like walking around and popping lactate pills. So
Number one, I want to know why the Koreans eat so much cheese. Like they eat cheese on all sorts of stuff, and Asian populations are historically
really high.
have a lot of lactose intolerance, and so I'm very curious about the Korean diet. Lots of cheese and lactose
I'm curious
intolerance.
what kinds of cheese they are because, for example, cottage cheese and cream cheese have no lactose in them.
Right. So softer
paneer
cheeses
has no lactose in it.
Paneer doesn't have lactose.
Yeah. So and then harder cheeses usually have less than soft cheeses.
Yeah.
So it totally depends on the fermentation process, how the cheese is made. So I'd
how
be
much
interested to see
bacteria has been involved in it, because bacteria that do make lactase can break down the lactose in the cheese along the way as well. That's why if you can handle some, like yogurt can be good, because often the bacteria can help populate your gut in a way so that you're able to, after you eat yogurt, eat more dairy products because of the bacteria.
Right.
Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But it depends on like the severity of your
Right.
situation.
Right. So like, is the cheese fermented? Like, anything like that. So that would be a great thing to look into.
Paneer had no lactase.
Yeah, I know. It's very cool. Wow. But so enter Virginia Holsinger. She was a food scientist who pretty much her entire oeuvre of scientific research was in the dairy industry, and she specifically was looking at enzymes, and she was specializing in that throughout her career. She was from Pennsylvania, and then in 1974, she led research programs on the basic science and technology of dairy foods. And then around that time, 1970s, 1980s, Alan Kligerman, who was part of a family of dairy farmers who was lactose intolerant.
What? Yes.
Approached her and basically said, like, hey, you work with enzymes and dairy products. What can we do here? And so their collaboration led to the creation of lactid, which, by the way, he earned an Ig Nobel for in 1991. It was for lactid, and he also worked with her to create Beano, which also is something that many people might be using tomorrow. And so, yeah. She made lactid by using a lactase derived from fungi. And so they found, it seems like, I was having trouble figuring this out, but it seems like they made the lactate milk before they made the lactate pills. I'm not 100% on that, but it looks
probably
like they
easier
figured
to
out
process it in a tank. Yeah.
How to make lactose-free dairy products first, and then they were like, all right, how can we turn this into a pill that you can take to then eat lactate or lactose? So anyway, it's brought him many millions of dollars. It's brought both of them lots of accolades, both, tongue-in-cheek and regular. But one of the things I thought was really interesting was that the U.S. military approached Holsinger after the creation of lactid to see if she could make a powdered milk that was lactose-free for soldiers who are lactose intolerant, because they have to have this shelf-stable powdered milk that they can rehydrate in the field. And so that was causing a lot of problems trying to get sugar and protein into these guys out in the field doing military things. And so she was able to develop a lactose-free dehydrated milk powder that has a long shelf life. So, I just...
Wow.
There's so much going on here, and it feels like very, very straightforward, but also something that didn't need to happen. Like, this is why I'm thankful for this part of science. Like, there's the part of medical science that saves lives and improves quality of life in very clear and obvious ways.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this other part that in some ways feels frivolous. Like, it got him an Ig Nobel. So they were like, you're stopping people from farting. That's funny, or whatever. But really, like, the quality of life difference is
a huge
big.
deal. Yeah.
I was able to taste the food that I made today while I was cooking, and I'm going to be able to eat a bunch of it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't have been able to without this supplement. And so I do think that it's very cool that people have the bandwidth, they have the time, they have the ingenuity, and they have the know-how to create these little parts of our lives that make existence more fun, more enjoyable, more rewarding. I don't know, easier. Also, like, soy milk and oat milk is expensive. It's a lot more expensive than cow milk. So
yeah, but it's so fascinating to me that I feel like the plant milks, the nut milks, they had to become more popular. That, like, the vegetarian vegan movement had to become a bigger deal in order to get the lactose-free products to become more prevalent on the shelves.
Yes.
I feel like in the last 5 years, I have seen more and more and more lactose-free milks. I've seen different yogurts.
So I have a theory about that.
I'm like, what is happening right now?
Yes.
This is
I've
great.
thought about
I'm
this
not
a lot.
Complaining.
And, like, this is going to sound very silly, and this is based in nothing, okay? I have no research to back this up. So that's the huge asterisk I have here. That's my disclaimer.
So anecdotally, observationally based hypothesis. Here we go.
The people who have purchasing power now they are different generations than had purchasing power 20 years ago. And people of previous generations, to yours or mine, I'm not trying to slander anybody, but a lot of people of those generations would sit in discomfort.
They were in pain a lot.
Yes. They wouldn't see doctors, they wouldn't take medicine, and they wouldn't do what their body needed. And so I do think, there's also, like, a pride piece, like, I'm fine, my stomach is fine. But, like, I don't know, our generations will tell you, like, oh man, I have a headache. Oh, my tummy hurts. Oh man, I'm feeling really anxious right now. Like, we are not ashamed to tell you what's going on feelings, and what we need.
That you have a body.
So that's my theory based in nothing at all.
I think this is great. I believe that no matter what, it'll be hard to get causality for the whole situation, but these factors cannot, when it comes down to it, it's market demand, right? And how does the products have a big enough demand that people are buying them, and now the products are on the shelves. And so, it is market driven.
But
I'm just so confused about recipes. It's like, why do you put cheese in salads, everybody? Right. Like, it's just a basic lettuce mix, and you threw cheddar in it. Why?
Yeah, I get really excited when I'm like, oh, I don't have to take lactid to eat this food. And then I'll find out a couple hours later, like, oh, I bet they cooked with butter or something.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel good. Just snuck in there. Just everywhere. But it's the very beginning. I was saying that 65% of the adult population has lactose intolerance, but the expectation is that lactose tolerance is the norm. So if that's expected to be the norm, then buyers won't buy lactose-free items, but B, like, people won't admit they need those things because they think that they're unusual. But if you push forward this narrative of, no, it's normal, everybody has it, like, then maybe it's more socially acceptable to ask for, want, and purchase those things. I don't know.
What we should have is, like, the lactate posse, where you go to grocery stores and everybody requests, like, lactose-free cheeses, lactose-free yogurt, lactose-free milks. Like, ask. And if you have enough people asking and then they buy it at grocery stores, it'll happen.
Yeah.
If you never ask, you'll never know.
I think yogurt is lactose free, isn't it?
It's because of the bacteria, or it's
Yeah.
like super
Yeah.
super low lactose. If it's been, it depends on when it was pasteurized and how.
Oh yeah, it's very lactose. It's very low in lactose. Anyway, okay. Well, what do you have for us today? Probably something more serious.
Oh, before we move on,
Yeah.
David is asking for a friend if there is a lactose-free butter.
I don't know.
Just
I use
curious.
plant butter.
Yeah, plant butters. So
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah, you can find it. It's hard to find though.
Exactly. Demand, supply, demand, market forces, basic economics. But moving on to, I don't know if this is more or less serious, Blair.
Okay.
I honestly don't know. My thought when I was contemplating, what am I thankful for? I mean, I'm thankful for science for so much, medical science, for, food science, for public health, for, new fabrics and crazy, like, oh, I have a waterproof jacket. Oh my gosh, that technology is the application of that science, and it's so incredible. But science is the asking of questions. It's the figuring things out. And there were a few stories this week that just, I think, epitomized to me, especially this week of TWISgiving, where we're all coming together, hopefully, not everyone, of course, but, it's a moment to sit in gratitude, maybe come together socially with others to share and to find community. And as we do that, it's difficult. And COVID was super hard. We were all isolated. And now, we're back in this place of being able to be together again. And I just really thought about how science, whether it's anthropology and archaeology from old stuff telling us about how we used to be, where we came from, to technologies and questions about who we're going to be. Like science, I'm just grateful for science as a process and a way for us to ask questions about ourselves and understand more about who we as humans are. And that, being able to have something that allows us to look in the mirror and gives us information back, I think is really important. That hopefully science will keep us grounded if we don't let the tech bros take advantage of it too much. But, for example, when you go see your friends and family, and this is our examples based on people gathering, and I apologize because I know many of us are alone at different times of the year for these holidays, and I'm sorry if this is not inclusive of you, but most of us have known moments where we have gathered and come together with people, and very often that involves a hug, maybe a kiss on the cheek. If it's somebody you know well and love, maybe a kiss on the lips, Where did that come from? What? Scientists at University of Oxford this week published in Evolution and Human Behavior their work suggesting that kissing might have originated with a shared ancestor of humans and other large apes. They looked at evidence across species, tracing back the roots of kissing in the large apes, emerging in ancestors between 21.5 to 16.9 million years ago. Our ancestors were like getting together and going, smooch, smooch. 20 million years ago. It's persisted, but why? Because kissing, you're close to somebody, you're breathing their air, you're touching their face, with your mouth face. And that can spread germs, right? It can be unsanitary, but we do it anyway. And it has allowed us, and it's even, as part of this paper, they suggest that even Neanderthals kissed. And that the action, that this behavior was so important to social bonds, that it is something that has, that it's stuck around. So kissing is non-aggressive. There's none of the, when you see a big ape showing you their teeth, that's not a smile, that's aggression. But you're not doing that if you're coming close and kissing. Pucker up. It's the exact opposite of that aggressive grin. And even beyond that, like looking at monkeys and apes, chimpanzees, bonobos, orangutans, it's across literature that all modern primates engage in some type of kissing. They used evolutionary scenarios and did statistical modeling with a computer. What? They ran 10 million the model 10 million times through, and they were able to infer that behavioral data and evolutionary evidence, they're able to infer that kissing is something that has been modern for longer than we have.
That checks out. I mean, I have a developing human in my home, and he figured that part out really fast. And before he even kind of had the motor control to pucker, he would kind of like put his yes.
There's a lot of mouth open
on my cheek and stuff, and it was just like, oh, you're so sweet. But I also noticed he does the thing that oh gosh, I don't remember what it's supposed to be, what the correct term is now, but it's what we used to call Eskimo kisses. I know that is politically incorrect.
But with the noses.
Yes. So we do it this way, but I recently saw a TikTok where some native individuals, from the north were showing us what the quote-unquote like proper Eskimo kiss is, and it's actually a really hard push with your nose, like so hard, like it almost hurts, and it's because you want to be close to them, and so you push up against different parts of their face, and my toddler does that. And so I do think it's interesting that it's like this impulse to just like be close, and it's almost reminds me in a weird way of the cute aggression thing, but not quite. It's like adjacent to that. Of like, I want to put my face near your face.
I want to be all up close to you. I wonder also, my cat comes up and she loves to she gets her nose and she comes up and she sniffs like right close to my mouth and my nose. And sometimes she boops, a little nose boop. And it is just the sweetest thing. And perhaps it's non-aggressive. It's vulnerable. It is close, and you can smell what somebody ate. Have you eaten lately? Are you healthy? How do you smell? And getting in there, it's showing, it is not just showing, but it is closeness. It's connection. As close as behaviorally we can get it. So anyway, so kissing. I think it's fantastic that, we've got University of Oxford scientists figuring out when kissing started, which...
That's awesome.
Let's go do that. And then language. We're going to be talking and talking and talking, and we talk about, where did language arise? Where did it come from? And we can talk about now how many languages are endangered on our planet because we're so connected now and on the internet, and everybody, it's just like the big languages. It's kind of like the big companies eating everything up. But there's been this major, like one of the prominent hypotheses for a really long time is that we all kind of came from Africa. We came from one place together. Language started in one place and then it divided and
Right,
split.
right. It's
Right?
kind
So
of
there's a root.
the more scientific Tower of Babel thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a new study suggests that that is not what happened. This is a paper that was published in Science this week. What enables human language, a biocultural framework. And they looked at different disciplines, studied language evolution, and by discussing different facets of human language, vocal production learning, linguistic structure, and social underpinnings, what they suggest with 3 different case studies, they suggest that language started in a lot of different places.
Mm-hmm.
And so
yes,
there
of
were
course.
a lot of different starts, and maybe they've woven together and maybe they haven't.
I'm sorry. Of course. Of course. Come on. If an ape in this zoo in this country and an ape in this zoo in this country develop different language for things in an ape's lifetime.
No, they just all had the same language inside, Blair.
And then they pass that on to the next generation in that zoo, and the next generation, and you put them together and they don't communicate, and then they have to try to find common like we've seen this in real time already. I'm of course.
Right. So,
oh goodness gracious.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. They're answering this question, and I think you say, of course, but
no, it's part of this larger narrative of like there was time before humans and then there was humans, and when there was humans they were in one place and then they left on a boat or they walked over a land bridge and then they went and they set up shop over here and then they set up shop over here. Like it's this very like linear, like before human, after human, the way of thinking that we really have to disabuse ourselves of, because that's not right. It's not that simple.
And one of the things with this study I think is really cool is that they don't just look at humans, they bring in a cross species insight. And so their perspective is, let's look at language from birds, bats, other primates, emerging sign languages. Let's look at shared mechanisms to talk about how complex communication evolves. And so I think that's the, fun and exciting part is, being able to come at these ideas in a new way and take what we've learned across everything. So ecology, evolution, anthropology, linguistics, let's consider it. And what is this going to help us understand about ourselves? That no matter how different we are, wherever we come from, we can come together and sit at the same table. And we can learn how to talk to each other.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So this is what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for our history. I'm thankful for science uncovering these things. And I'm thankful for science hopefully being able to give us a path forward as we're being, impacted by questions about artificial intelligence, mind-reading devices. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do with brain-computer interfaces in the future? Anyway, there's so much, and science can allow us to question, use hypotheses, test ideas that can bring us forward in a really productive way. And there's just really fun stuff. So anyway, thanks, science.
Yeah.
You're awesome. Thank you, scientists. Thank you, people who fund science.
Yeah, we're learning about the past, the present, and the future.
Mm-hmm.
In every meaning of those words. And I think that's what's so beautiful about it. We're learning more and more about our past. we're learning more and more about who we currently are, what we're currently doing, how to do things better, and then also where we might be going. It's very cool. It's like so much bigger than just how things work.
Exactly. It's so much bigger. And so when you think of science as just, oh, we're just figuring out how stuff works, that's not all it is. Yeah. Less Terminators and mind control and more Beano, please.
Yeah,
Pepsi
agreed. That's correct.
Thank you for everyone's curiosity. Have we done it tonight, Blair?
We have.
Yeah.
I have more butter and milk waiting for me in the kitchen right now.
I am going to try and make it, of the things that people need, right? I'm trying to make a sugar-free pumpkin pie. I don't know if I'm going to be able. I'm going to see what I can do there. There's work ahead tonight. Food to be made, so that bellies might be filled tomorrow.
That's right.
Thanks so much, Blair.
Thank you, Kiki.
Yeah.
Thanks to all of you watching and listening also.
Thank you, everyone.
And thanks to who else, Kiki?
And thank you to Fada. Thank you so much for all of your help with show notes and show descriptions and social media. It's a crazy place these days. And your help every single week really helps us out a lot. Thank you so much, Fada. Thank you, everyone in the chat room tonight. Thanks for your comments and your enjoyment of the show. Thanks for being here and being a part of each other's experience. Really appreciate that you're here live. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Identity, for recording the show. Thank you, Rachel, for editing the show. And thank you to our Patreon sponsors. Thank you, Aaron Anathema, Adam Mishkan, Alan Viola, Ali Coffin, Andrew Swanson, Artem, Arthur Kepler, Bob Calder, Bob Coles, Brendan Minish, Brian Carrington, Chris Wozniak, Christopher Dreyer, Christopher Rappin, Craig Landon, Craig Potts, Dana Lewis, Daryl Myshak, Dave Wilkinson, David E. Youngblood, Don Mundis, Donathan Styles, a.k.a. Don Stylo, E.O. Eden Mundell, Eric Knapp flying out, Fredis 104, G. Burton Lattimore, George Corris, Greg Briggs, Jack, Jason Olds, John Atwood, John McKee, John Ratnerswamy, Johnny Gridley, Ken Hayes, Kent Northcote, Kevin Parachan, Kevin Ridden, Kurt Larson, Lon Makes, Lauren Gifford, Mary Gertz, Marjorie, Mark Heston, Flo Noodles, Patrick Pecoraro, Paul D. Disney, Paul Ronovich, Philip Shane, Pierre Velazar, P.I.G., Richard Badge, Robert Norland, Robert Farley, Rodney Lewis, Rudy Garcia, Remy Day, Sean Clarence Lamb, Shu Brew, Stephen Alberon, Steve Leisman, a.k.a. Zima, Sue Doster, Teresa Smith, Tony Steele, and Vegard Schefstad. Thank you. Thank you to all of you who support us on Patreon. I know times are kind of tight these days for many. So those of you who continue to support us, I really appreciate it. And if you find it in your ability this year to support TWIS, we really would appreciate it. And thank you for your support. Head to twis.org to click on that Patreon link. On next week's show,
we will be back on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Time, broadcasting live from our Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook channels.
Oh, yeah. And there's something else. You want to listen to us as a podcast? Just search for This Week in Science wherever you podcasts are found. And if you enjoyed the show, get your friends to subscribe too. Them.
For more information on anything you've heard here today, show notes and links to stories will be available on our website. That's at www.twis.org. You can also sign up for our newsletter.
Blair's newsletter. No.
Yeah, all right.
We love your feedback. Wait, if there is a topic you would like us to cover or address, or a suggestion for an interview, please let us know in one of our social media accounts or send us an email. Just put TWIS in the subject line so your email doesn't get spam filtered into where, Blair?
Oh, deep into a pumpkin pie.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's pumpkin pie spice special.
Yeah. We look forward to discussing science with you again next week. And if you've learned anything from the show, remember,
It's all in your head. So's the pumpkins.
This week in science. This week in science. This week in science. This week in science, it's the end of the world. So I'm setting up shop, got my banner unfurled. It says the scientist is in, I'm gonna sell my advice. Show them how to stop the robots with a simple device. I'll reverse global warming with a wave of my hand. And all it'll cost you is a couple of grand. 'Cause this week's science is coming your way. So everybody listen to what I say. I use the scientific method for all that it's worth. And I'll broadcast my opinion all over the earth. 'Cause it's This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. 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 This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. 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 I've got one disclaimer and it shouldn't be news. That what I...
Woo! We've done it. We've done it. We did it. Thank you all for joining us for another episode. Thank you, David, huh? Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Oh, not sweet potato pie. Nope.
No, I made sweet potatoes separately.
So I'm like, I have a butternut squash, and I am in this moment where I'm like, do I take it and make a butternut squash onion puff pastry appetizer? Do I make butternut squash soup, or do I make roasted butternut squash with sweet potatoes and carrots?
That one, that's much easier.
It is easy.
It is. And then you're serving a vegetable. You're serving a vegetable along with all of these naughty, naughty foods. So, like, do that.
Roast
then
them.
it's just chop it, shove it in the oven. Wow.
I will chop them all tonight.
Yeah.
And then
That's
it'll be
perfect.
that. Then I'll cook them tomorrow. That'd be great. Yeah, I'm gonna do that prep.
Yeah.
I gotta sous chef myself tonight,
Yeah.
so I don't have to worry about it.
Mise it
tomorrow.
en place, you know?
Mise en place. Yeah. My place is going to be a disaster, but it's going to be fun. How about yours?
That'll be great.
Yes.
I'm going to my parents' house. Thank you.
Oh, good. Yay.
I'm bringing quite a few
Thanks,
things,
Mom.
but I'm very excited to not be the one hosting. It's so much more work. And my kid loves their house. It's like a playground for him there. So
Well, yes, your parents have probably like completely dived into being grandparents and like, come on.
Yeah. So I'm actually gonna get to like, I don't know, sit on the couch and drink wine, I think.
What?
And let him run around with my parents and just because I did so much cooking today, I think I'm gonna be able to just let me know when to reheat everything. That's all I need to do.
Yep. What's your favorite dish?
It's the pie. Well, my favorite thing to make is the pies. I've been making pies from scratch every year since I was 15. So like that is my ritual and I like it a lot. My favorite thing to eat is my dad's stuffing. It's got smoked oysters and veggie sausage in it. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, lots and lots of mushrooms.
I think I'm going to do a sausage stuffing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sausage and pecans and the bread stuffing,
Nice.
I think.
That sounds great.
Yeah. I dried my bread today. Yeah, I was like, I don't need to buy a bag of dried bread.
Yeah, that's all it is, right? Is it seasoned or it's not?
It comes with seasoning.
Oh,
Then
okay.
you add butter
Yeah.
and chicken broth.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have herbs.
Yeah.
I've got the butter,
Yeah.
the chicken broth. I can make the bread too.
Yeah.
Why is that hard?
Yeah. Oven?
I'm gonna do this.
Yeah. That's great.
We'll see. Yes.
All right.
But
Well,
have a wonderful, wonderful day tomorrow. Tell your
you
family I say
too.
hello and send my
I
love.
will. I will.
Yeah. I hope they're doing well. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely. Same to you as
Fabulous.
well. Tell everyone I say hi.
I will.
Okay.
For sure.
Great.
Can't wait to be able to get together in person.
I know. It'll happen.
Yes. I am
When?
I'm coming to my parents' house for Christmas. So
Ooh,
I may be
nice.
making a trip to the Bay Area because it's just
Okay.
a hop across some hills.
That would be fun.
Yeah. So if I end up in the Bay Area, I'll let you know.
Yes. That would be great.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, everybody, thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. I would love to hear about any wonderful scientific mishaps or victories that occur in your kitchen.
Yeah.
Over
Hopefully
the next
nobody's
few days.
deep frying their turkey.
I made the joke in the beginning
know.
in the disclaimer, but really, if your turkey is not completely defrosted, do not put it in the hot oil. You
Just don't do it. Can it really be that much better? Just put it in the oven like a normal person.
Yeah. Please don't burn yourself. Don't explode your chicken. I mean your turkey. Don't explode it. Okay?
No.
All right. Yes.
Okay.
Highest
be safe.
difficulty level. Be safe, all. Say goodnight, Blair.
Good night, Blair. Say good night, Kiki.
Good night, Kiki. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Be safe. Be healthy. Fill your bellies. Find love, compassion.
And cuddle a cockroach.
Oh, puppies. Stay curious and definitely stay lucky. Good night.